My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell. Opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip. Its center, acute but deep. Its smell, delicate. And its petals, gentle but sturdy.
I did not always know this. I learned this in the Vagina workshop. I learned this from the woman who runs the Vagina workshop, a woman who believes in vaginas, a woman who sees vaginas, a woman who helps other women see their own vaginas by seeing other women's vaginas. Excuse me. In the first session, the woman... In the first session, the woman who runs the Vagina workshop asked us all to draw a picture of our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas. That's what she called it. One woman who was pregnant drew a huge red screaming mouth with coins spilling out of it. Another very skinny woman drew a kind of huge serving plate with a Devonshire pattern on it.
No.
I drew a big black spot with little squiggles coming out of it. The big black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the little squiggly lines were people or things or atoms that just got socked in and lost there. I saw my vagina as some sort of anatomical vacuum, sucking up people and objects from the surrounding environment. I did not see it in biological or practical terms. I did not, for example, see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to take out our hand mirrors and examine our vaginas. Then, report back to the group about what we saw. I must say that up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I'd never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me on some sort of abstract plane, and it seemed so reductive and awkward looking at it like we were, on our backs, on our mats, with our hand mirrors. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. It was like the first time you cut open a fish and you see all the bloody complex world inside right under the skin. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. And the thing that surprised me most was the layers. Layers opening into layers, opening into more layers. I couldn't speak when it came to my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I awakened to what the woman who ran the workshop called vaginal wonder. It was better than the Grand Canyon. It was ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and the purity of a proper English garden. And it was funny, really funny. It made me laugh. It could hide and seek, open and close. Then the woman who ran the workshop asked how many women had had orgasms. 2 women very tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hand, although I'd had orgasms. I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. I didn't know how to make one happen. They happened mostly in water, often in the bath, once at Cape Cod. They happened on horses, they happened on bicycles, once on a treadmill at the gym. I didn't raise my hand because I didn't know how to make it happen. It seemed to me like something mystical and magical. It seemed wrong to get involved. It felt manipulative, contrived, it felt Hollywood. The problem was, of course, I hadn't had a surprise accidental orgasm in a long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was in the Vagina workshop. Then the woman who ran the Vagina workshop asked us to do something that I both dreaded and longed for. She asked us to take out our hand mirrors and locate our clitoris. felt so awkward. It felt funny. The group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing I had to give up on the fantasy. The enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. That was going to lead my life, choose direction, give me orgasms. The simultaneous terror and realization that I had, in fact, avoided finding my clitoris. I had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was, in fact, terrified I did not have a clitoris. Terrified I was one of those constitutionally incapables, one of those dried up, dead and frigid apricot tasting. Oh my God! I lay there on my mat, searching with my fingers, and all I could think about was this time when I was 10, and I went swimming in the lake, and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds, how I kept on diving, and diving to the bottom, and I kept running my fingers over the slimy stuff and fish and bottle caps, and never mind ring, the panic I felt, I knew I'd be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, and heavy breathing. She came over. I explained. I've lost it, I've lost it, I've lost my clitoris, I should have never have worn it swimming. The woman who ran the workshop calmly stroked my forehead, and she laughed. She explained that my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, it was the essence of me, it was the doorbell to the house and the house itself. I didn't have to find my clitoris, I had to be my clitoris. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay down on the mat. I closed my eyes and I put down the hand mirror. I felt myself floating above myself, and I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. Felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of the earth. It was very quiet, this re-entry. Quiet and gentle. I landed and bounced, bounced and landed. I slid into my muscles and my cells and my blood, and I flew into my vagina. It was suddenly easy and I fit. And then, without looking, I put my finger on what was suddenly ready and young and pulsing and alive and what had just become me. There was a quivering at first, which urged me to stay. And then the quivering became a quake, and the quake an eruption of light and music and silence and opening onto an ancient horizon of longing, and I felt connection, calling connection, as I lay there, thrashing about on my little blue mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip, and a destiny. I'm arriving as I'm beginning to leave. My vagina. My vagina. Me. Woo!